That's it. Okay. So take it away. Tell us about your name, who you are, what you do.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Number one, I'm glad to be here. It's a blessing. My name is Jason Etheridge, but I go by the name Mr E The Motivator. And what I do is I speak to kids, elementary and middle school kids, mostly about test taking, also about bullying, decision making, life skills, things like that. I believe the most interesting part about what I do is that it wasn't planned. I did not set out to be a speaker at any point. My bachelor's degree is in business management from Alabama A&M University, but I've been working in education ever since I left school. So what happened was I had an idea to create a song for the CRCT at an elementary school where I was working. The principal shared it with him. He loved it. He played it for the school. Kids, everybody's dancing, singing around. He shared it with other principals. They liked it. Then I went to a different job and I shared the songs with the media specialist. This was the following year. He sent it around to schools all around the state of Georgia. And then I started getting feedback. People saying, this is great. Can you do more? Then I started getting opportunities to go and present. Now, I'm not a speaker. I just made a few songs just having fun for kids, right? And now opportunities are coming to me to present at schools. I've never presented before. I've never, really gotten on stage. I did some things, of course. I was a drum major in the band. I'm not shy about performing, playing my horn and things like that. I played trumpet through school. But getting the opportunity to go and speak in front of 400, 500 kids was brand new. Okay, so from there we had to look for people, research on things that were going on. We created a nice package for a presentation, and now I guess this would be year 7 for making the songs. We've reached out to we're about 65, 70 schools visited all around the state of Georgia, Kansas City, Columbus, Ohio, and also in Kentucky, Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. I went this year, so that is all a blessing. So it seems like it's a one-way trip, but let me go into some of the things that I had to impart on, to get into this position. The first thing was that, like I said before, this was not a plan. I didn't say I'm going to start making music for kids and it's going to be great. It was something that I thought was a cool thing to do. What happened was that someone else saw it and they had to show it to me in a mirror and say, basically, Jay, you have something here. You need to look at this and be serious about this because you're pretty much sitting on a bank. And so once it came back to me, because all I'm doing is working. I'm just doing what I do all the time. I just go to my office, I make a song, I send it out, and that's it. I just go on about my day. But it had to be flipped back to me where, people saying, this is something that you can actually build. You can actually do something with this. So that was first. It was shown to me and I had to become serious about it. Okay, I knew that it was something there. I knew that there wasn't a big market for it. So I saw that there's an opportunity. Then when it came to the presentation part, now I'm not the first motivational speaker in the world, right? There are plenty of people doing great things, and I think I can sit in your chairs because we're all in this. I haven't made it to anywhere close to where I want to go. I'm still building myself, but you get to that point, and you can let me know if you agree, where you're seeing other people who have gotten to these places, and you're trying to figure out, well, how did they get there? Or what did I miss? That they actually got in order to get them to where they're going? Or what am I doing wrong that's not getting me there? Does anybody follow me on that one? And what I do when those things happen, because it happens every season. Every time I get ready to start, looking for new schools to go to start putting my stuff out, my different marketing things, I start to feel that way. And what happens is I have to bring it back to myself and I have to remember what it is that I do. Who's my audience? What am I doing this for? And I have to actually just kind of break it down because I'll get too far outside of myself. I start thinking national. I can do that. I can be on TV. They're not talking about anything. I can do, but I have to come back because I'm not there yet. I'm here. So I have to, realize what my niche is again and just focus on that. Now, we got serious. We understood who our audience is. All right, 1 and 2. Another big part is the network. You know, who else are you talking to? There's an article I read about the 5 most important people in your life, that you are basically the average of the 5 people that you hang around the most. And so, you know, that's why they say, you know, wealthy people, they get rid of loser friends. They just kind of surround themselves with other people like them, because that's who basically rub off on their personality. They basically create them. And of those 5 people, there are 3 people that everyone needs. The first one is a younger person, somebody that you can mentor, somebody that you can kind of teach and kind of bring along, right? The second person is somebody who's at your level, somebody that you can bounce ideas off of, where you're kind of, you know, you're kind of saying, you know, well, I'm doing this and I do this way. You kind of trading ideas. And that third person is your mentor, somebody who's older than you, who's a veteran in the business, who you can bounce questions off of and who can give you some insight into what you're doing. Now, as I think about that circle of mine, I can actually identify those people, you know, and that's always a good thing, no matter what it is. You know, if it's art for you, speaking for me, that same rule is going to apply. All right, so know who that network is, and don't be afraid to, you know, expose your weaknesses to other people. You know, to talk about the things that you're not so sure about, or to ask, how is it that you do this? Because I'm having a problem with certain kids. You know, I can't seem to reach them in big audiences, so on and so forth. When you start asking those probing questions, and you're getting the right people talking to you, not just you know next door neighbor, but the right people talking to you about it, then you start seeing your growth, because now you're more empowered. And once you begin to practice those things that you're talking about, you're going to see the results happen almost immediately. Now back to, so we were serious. We found out who our niche is, and we have our network of people. Now, of course, a big thing for me is the marketing, the advertising, and I think the same thing would be for your art. I think naturally you would think that your portfolio and the piece of work that you do would be your art. Similarly for me, it would be my speaking. However, there's not very much that I can show for being a speaker, so I have to do other things. Thankfully, I have the music part, and then I started to think on how I can recreate my speaking into other, you know, how I can make other things speak to my speaking. Are you following me? So we go to YouTube. And so instead of just doing the song, I would do the song with a slideshow. And I would kind of translate the message in the music with pictures from different shows that speaks differently, other than just me standing in front of a camera and talking to the camera. Are you following me? I would do video clips and testimonials. Testimonials is always a big thing. You know, whatever school I go to, especially last year, not so much this year because I went a different direction that I'll speak to shortly. But this year I want to get testimonials. I put a camera right in front of a principal, someone who makes decisions or who was influential in the school, and just say, what do you think about Mr. E? And just hold the camera to them and let them speak honestly. And they'll say, thankfully, oh, he's great. He, brought a lot of energy. He did this, that, and the other. Now what happens is, the people that make decisions look for that. They don't want to hear what you say, because it's your job to sell yourself. But when other people start talking about the work that you do, that speaks a lot louder as far as getting more business and getting more opportunities. Another thing that I did was, of course, the art. You see the business card. A friend of mine, because I'm from Atlanta, his name is Adrian Franks. He went to high school with me. He's actually in New York now. He created this logo. It's actually a silhouette. He did it all on his iPad, I believe. And it's just gorgeous. Had a nice little sketch block. And it kind of gives, it speaks to, what I do. I come in and it's kind of like, you see the bow ties accented. That's my uniform. And that's just kind of how it is. So we have the logo. Daniel, I actually paid Daniel tons of money to make a poster for me. He's not cheap at all. But Daniel made a great poster for me that we use. And those speak to those different marketing tools. So the logo going on cards. We have T-shirts. We have a saying on the back of the T-shirt. And those are other ways to speak to the speaking. Now, on the T-shirt, you'll see the logo. And on the back is a message that says, I am, therefore I think. And I have a nice little spiel around the message. But that all goes back to the business of what I do. You see, everything kind of points back to me as a motivational speaker. The same thing can happen for you as an artist. It's not just, check out the portfolio, but everything you do is your brand. My good friend Levon Lewis, he's here in Atlanta also. Pencil Works Design Group is his company. He is an expert on branding. He and I went to undergrad college together. His main thing is everything you do is your brand. Just like I'm here today, khaki suits, bow tie, Adidas. That is my calling card. And everything that I do, every time you see me, mostly when I'm in uniform, I'm here. I have on the Sambas, I got on the bow tie, I'm suited up, and we're ready to go because that's what it is. You never know who you're going to run into. You never know when you have to have those cards ready. It's extremely important. So let's see. Let's double back. We got serious. We found our niche. We got our network, and we started to make our business speak in different ways. Okay. Another thing is, I just had it and I lost it. Oh, social networking. There are tons of them out there. And the way that I use mine is, you have to be careful with social networking because, I'm Jason as well as Mr. E The Motivator. So I have to make sure I'm using the right ones for the right things. But the way that I use them are either for motivational messages or calling cards to everyone else to just say, here, look at what I just did, look at what I'm doing. Now, I have LinkedIn, I have Facebook fan page for Mr. E, I have Twitter, Instagram, but there's another one that I use that I put Dan on. I don't think he knew about IFTTT. It's called IFTTT, If This Then That is what it stands for. Have you heard of that? What it is, it's a trigger response website. And so what happens is, you connect all your different websites, right? And then IFTTT, you can have them, if this happens on this page, then this will happen on this page. For instance, if I make a post on Instagram and use the hashtag for the children, it'll recreate the post on LinkedIn. Because I don't really do a lot of posts on LinkedIn, but when I do that on Instagram, it'll automatically do it on LinkedIn through IFTTT. If I make a Facebook post on my Facebook page, it'll automatically go to Twitter. And so, certain websites already do it. Like Twitter automatically go to Facebook if you connect it, but Facebook won't go to Twitter. And so, you can do those different things. It's a great website. They have tons of different applications that can be used to do that. So those social networks, keeping them busy because your internet identity is an alternate identity of yourself. And if you use it the right way, you can garner a lot of business, reaching out to right people. Finding those right people to connect to also. You have to separate friends from those business connections because they may clash at some point. Someone's looking on your page and they see, hey, party down the street. Boy, you got towed up last night. Wait, it's my business page. So, it's really interesting because I was never trained to speak or present. It just all came from experience. I was never trained on internet creation, web page creation, but we have a decent one through Wix. Dane don't like Wix. It's all right. It works for me.
But we have our reasons for it.
Right.
Conversation.
But, we have those identities set up, and because, I'm able to stay focused on the reason that I'm doing it, that's how we're able to see a bit of success and we'll be seeing some steady growth. So if that talk spoke to you any, I hope that it did. Looking through, I know I just looked at the one, but I want to look at everyone's. I'm just a fan of art. I love Deadpool. He's a cool fella. Wade. Thanks, Dan.
Which one is that?
This is 900.
Deadpool, okay.
Yeah. But I'm a fan of it. I can't draw a lick. I can doodle, but that's another thing. I didn't get into the art part. I did the logo. I did the poster, but I also got onto bit strips because I was interested in creating a comic book type of reading for kids. I've been speaking with Daniel about it. He's too expensive, so I have to wait. But in the meantime, we got into bit strips, and so we created different spills. It'll be a spill about bullying, one about testing, and I actually did a video for one of my songs using the bit strips characters that we created. So, just using those different things in different ways, they really helped out a lot to keep things going. So, at this time, if you have any questions, maybe something else will pop up, but let's have a talk if there's anything. I just did the 3 main people out of the 5. Yeah. But the 5, you are the average of the 5 people that you hang around the most.
There's a saying that says, if you hang out with 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
So.
That's it. Yes, ma'am. Oh, absolutely.
Uh-oh.
Absolutely. You don't have any speakers or anything?
No.
It's cool. Let's see what we got here.
Just turn it up real loud.
Yeah.
You gonna sing it or it's already
No, it's already in.
You gonna lip sync?
Yeah, let me stand over.
That's good.
So this song right here is the one that pretty much blew up. It's everywhere. And like when, I log on to YouTube and SoundCloud, I mean, thousands. I think it's up to 60, 70,000 just listens in classes and, comments coming from kids, parents, teachers, like this is great. And so it just kind of just keep doing that. And this is where I have the most fun. I don't plan any of these. It's generally, I hear a song I like on the radio and say, yeah, I'm going to do some of that. And then I just go from there. So we have all types. We have like the pop, and then there's like some singing ones and some rap ones that are just strictly rap. So we just have fun with it. And the good thing is that it's received. And because we're doing it in the right mind frame, I'm not trying to basically get paid on it, although I want to make this a business of mine. For the music, it's not a charge. You go to the website, you just listen to them as long as you want. I encourage it for kids to do. Or you can actually have me come out and present it, which takes it to a different level. So that's what kind of helps us. It's a hand that feeds. You make it fair for me, I'll make it fair for you, but we all going to have a good time with it. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Can you tell us?
Yes.
I know you started about your story, but what is it that first attracted you to try to talk to kids, and this whole Mr. E motivational speaker thing came about?
Yeah, I think that's interesting because, like I said, my degree was in business management, but I've always liked working with kids. And when I started making the songs, you always have that thought in the back of your head, like this would be cool if I was like a bunch of people and I could perform it. But what happened was when I got that first call, I think it was a school it was Livonia Elementary. It's like 2 hours up 85. They called me to come all the way up there. And once I did that school and once I walked in, and you just see kids because they listen to the songs every day. You have no idea what's going on. But you walk into a building and everyone knows who you are and they're singing the songs with you. That's what tells you. It's like, wait a minute. Something is right with this, and this is what you're supposed. what I'm supposed to be doing. I should be doing. I should continue to do this. And it's those sparks. And now when, we're at, like I said, 65, 70 schools, and the majority of those, I'm going in, they already know who I am. And it is an amazing, amazing feeling. But that's what keeps me motivated. Because I'm able to see that, okay, this is being received, so I can't come short. I have to be up on my game. I have to have my spills together. I have to make sure that I'm presenting myself right. I have to be professional about how I interact with the educators in the building because I'm a visitor to their schools. And so if they're inviting me in, I have to know that I have to represent a certain thing because once my name is tarnished, then that's it. If something goes wrong on one of my shows, like, kid, you better just show behind. Wait a minute. You can't come here no more because that's the word that's going to spread. All it takes is one. So, I make sure that I'm always on top of my game, especially when I'm in person. When it's, those emails, making those deals and, speaking back and forth. It's a certain way that I frame my emails when I'm talking to potential clients, and it's a certain way that I behave when I'm inside of another person's school or in a school building that makes it, I have to keep that business persona up. Like I said with LaVon Lewis, your brand is everything that you do. Everything that you do. The way you talk, the way you dress, the way you present your work, all of that is included in your brand and the way that you are received to other people. Because it's not just me getting up speaking. It's not just me, singing the songs. It's everything because my face is on it. My logo is actually a picture of me. So, I have to make sure that I'm on my game when we do it.
Anybody got questions? I'm going to keep asking.
Yeah, keep them coming.
So, okay, what came first? The idea to do public speaking or the song? Or
the songs came first.
And what motivated you to
make the
be
song?
The motivator in the song?
Gotcha. You asked that first, huh?
Yeah, but you didn't answer what I was looking for. Like,
I'll tell you. What happened was I was working at a school with a principal, and he said, Jay, come here, I want to play you something. So he played a song. It was some kids who did a song for CRCT. There's some kids. I couldn't understand what they were saying. They were like, CRC or whatever, right? And it was cool. It was cute, but I didn't understand what they were saying. So I had an idea. I said, well, let me try, because it had been in my head to try already, but, never had the opportunity. So I asked him, what do you think if I made a song, using a song, I could do the same thing. He said, sure. Went home, made the song. It was actually T.I. It was You Don't Know Me. It's like you got to study all week to pass the CRC. Have a decent chance to sleep to pass the CRC. Jam it, right? Had one verse, had a little chant at the end of it. He played it at the school. Kids loved it. They were loving it. They're going around, they singing it, they walking down the hall, they're in the lunchroom. And so that's how it all kicked off. And then he shared it with other principals in the area. Now the next year, I left that school, went to a different school. Did some more songs. Got it to my media specialist, and the media specialist sent it to all other media specialists around the state. And so that's kind of where it kind of first got its first bump, that first little hush started coming. The following year, we started doing it. We went to, I think that second year, it was like 3 schools we visited. Then that next year, it was 7, and then 10, and then, it just kind of kept going from there.
But did you have the desire to do music before that you've been harboring in your heart?
Yeah, I've been around music. I was in the band since 11. So I was 11 years old. So I've been playing trumpet and, went through high school, went through college. I was a drum major in the marching band at Alabama A&M University, March Maroon and White Band. I'm in KK Psi, so I'm in the band frat. So everything, I was always around music. So when I got back home from school and I started working, I didn't have anything else to do with it. I was doing this. I'm going in this direction. But, it's still in me because it's been a part of me ever since. So that's the one thing that I've always had. I think my calling should have been to be a band director, but, I've been called to do something else. So, but that's how it was. It was always just, sitting back there, just waiting to be used. And when the opportunity came, it did. Like I would do a song. I did a song for my wife, for like a birthday. I don't know what it was for. It was just, I just did it, just because. But when the opportunity came, I did. To do this, it kind of hit, and because I enjoyed it, and because it was received so well, and because I enjoyed doing it, I just didn't stop. And like, even if I stopped speaking, I would still make the songs because I just have a good time doing it, and I know that it's received in classrooms. And I think it helps too that I'm actually in education. I'm a high school counselor, and so I'm not just a guy that comes and speaks to kids. I'm actually in the classroom every day. Well, I'm in the building every day working with kids. I know the talk. I've worked in elementary, I've worked in middle, worked in high school, and so I can relate specifically to what's going on with kids and what's going on with the teachers, parents, and the whole nine. And from this, it's not just about testing, but like I said, we do bullying, we do decision making, we do parent conferences or parent sessions. We're even working on teacher professional development now, trying to get some professional learning units together so that we can do those. And it's all spawned from making some songs in my office on the year 2000 computer.
Do you see that as a career that's really going to get you out of your regular job into a whole other
yes,
platform?
I do. And I think it's that fear of the unknown. It's hard to take that step, not knowing, where it's going, because with my job, I know it's already planned. At the end of the month, I'm going to get this. As long as I don't, mess up, it's going to be there. But with this, this is actually the job that I chose. I didn't necessarily choose to be in education. I didn't necessarily choose to be a counselor. But speaking and presenting and working with young people, that's what I actually chose. And this avenue, this business actually gives me an avenue to do that in a form that I love. I mean, I don't really get paid very much to do this. I get a nice little, thank you, thank you, Doc, thank you, Bucks, for doing it. But because I'm able to do that, that tells me that this is what's for me. And so, I'm looking to build it into something that can be profitable, but it's going to take that grind. And let me continue. Thank you. When you get in that point where, like I said, every season I get that nervous feeling, because I don't know if it's going to work, if people are going to feel what I'm doing. The new songs, I kind of get nervous. When I go into a school, every time I go into a school, I get a little nervous because I don't know the kids. I haven't seen them yet. But when I get those feelings, when I get into survival mode, Eric Thomas, if you've heard of him, he's a speaker. Brilliant guy. His saying is, when you want to be successful as much as you want to breathe, that's how you know that you're ready to do it. Who else? Keith Brown, he's another dynamic speaker. He's actually one of my mentors. Well, he don't know he's my mentor, but I always bounce stuff off of him, and he don't know that he's teaching me. But he says that, it's not impossible, I'm possible. He just broke that word up and made it into those two powerful words. And so I go back to those types of things to just say, look, if I'm going to do it, I have to do it. Because if I don't do it, it's not going to be done. Russell Simmons, he said, until you've done it, it hasn't been done yet. No matter what it is, if it's T-shirts, if it's jeans, if it's hats, until you do it, it hasn't been done yet. And so those are the types of things that, I always go back to. I get in that survival mode. I kind of put my dukes up and say, look, it's going down no matter what. If either it's not going to work or it's going to work. But because I know what to do, because I know what I'm doing, and because it's mine, it's going to work. I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that it works. All right? Come on, keep it coming. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Don't tell him. But yes. Like I said, with the logo, Adrian Franks did the logo. Daniel did the poster. And the way that we're looking to build it is into when I get into my writing. When I get into books. And like I said, I want to try and do a comic at some point, but it's not easy to do, financially. So it's going to take some time to build it, but we already begin to start writing those stories and getting those things done. Like I said, with the videos, I did the one-bit strip just to give it a shot to see how it worked, and it came out really well. With just mess with that and cutting it, saving them as pictures, cutting and pasting it to the video and lining it up. it actually came out really well. So those types of things open up different doors to how we can bring more visual arts into it. Yes.
Well, I was just asking because just recently I've been doing mentoring in high school.
Okay.
In the Atlanta area, and that's just something that seems very interesting. Like you were talking about music, but
Yes.
children just really take to music, like
Absolutely.
quickly.
Absolutely.
And art also. So I mean, it just seems like if you really wanting to work with some artists, let me know how we're going to talk after this.
Most definitely.
My name is Jason Thomas. I do painting illustration.
Okay.
Most recently, I did work with Etheridge High School.
Okay.
And also on Elko County High School, which is like North Georgia
Yeah.
High School. I went to.
Okay.
And I've just been trying to get more artists together, art-minded people who really want to go into the school system and just be motivators.
Most
For
definitely.
their children, whether it's art, music, science, math, whatever.
Most definitely.
I've just been trying to incorporate that.
Most definitely.
What I've been doing Monday through Thursday. So definitely.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I can make a contact because I've been talking to Daniel loosely about the art teacher at my school where I work. So that's something we can definitely look at. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think what's important to note is that what Mr. E is explaining about himself is it's not like he was in high school and they had a course on motivated speaking, and saying, hey, well, you have a regular job, here's what you can do with your music ideas and touch on kids, and then somebody will pay you to come out to your school. And art is the same way. There's talk about art and there's art contests and classes and all this and that, but nobody says, this is how Hanna-Barbera got started. And I remember Hanna-Barbera because I'm old. But Tom and Jerry and all that stuff, you don't think about it like that. Yeah. They just say, hey, you can draw. Here's more paper. Here's construction paper. And cut out some stuff. And and so as artists, we start at a certain point, just not understanding what it's about, what this career could take you to, what it takes to make it a career. We're just doing it because we like it. And there's encouragement or there's naysayers all along the way, and you still do it. You fall into a job, you make decisions, real life decisions that we all have to make as we get older. And but somewhere along the line, the art continues to call and is there. So what do you do with that? And I like to tell artists at this, and that's why we started a program called League of Art Entrepreneurs. Is that if you don't make money with your art, somebody else will. And that's the reality because it takes art, and then not just the art that people get to show, but the art that it took to build this for the plants on this table, and building up walls and architecture and civic engineering, just the regular art that is everywhere. Art is everywhere in any kind of way, and so when a person has a talent and then gets to learning on how to do this art, to a level that is that makes them unique, then you have to start thinking, well, what other people have made this a career? What did they do to get there? And how can I do the same? Because Mr. E just mentioned names of motivational speakers, people who are good at expressing an idea and getting people motivated about it and get paid to do it. And that's the way. That's where our lives and our world is also. But there's plenty of artists who made lots and lots and lots of money on some weird looking stuff and some very talented stuff. Yeah. So where's our place in that? What is it that we have to do to get to that point that people will pay us for our talents and for our work, and producing something. And so that's where what is your passion, and then how you gonna make it happen? Get something to add?
Yeah, as your brand grows, you're going to find that people are going to attach to it and try to replicate it and duplicate what you're doing. But like I said, if it's yours, it's yours. I know that there are a few people who have, since I've started, tried to replicate what I'm doing and what I've done, and it's cool. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, it kind of hits me in the gut when I see it sometimes. Like, it's all good because I know what I have. I know what I've created. I know where I'm going. So if it's a case where they're trying to get where I'm going, that means I'm leading the pack, and I don't mind that, because I have all the ideas, I have all of the cards in my hand, and whatever I leave behind, they're picking up. And so, don't get discouraged about, like at this table, it's a bunch of artists at this table, and everybody's really good from what I can see. You can't get discouraged by that, because everybody has their own niche, everybody has their own dream, everybody has their own direction for where you want your art to go. So just remember, what's yours is yours, and until you do it, it won't be done. All right?
Somebody would like to share their story? 2 minutes? Yeah, everybody? Cool. Let's start right here. Tell us your name and what you do.
Camera time. My name is Rylan. I'm just a graphic design student, I guess, right now. And my story, I've just been drawing my whole life, and now I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't know what we would like to know.
Well, do you have any goals with your talents that require your talents?
Well, originally I wanted to do like comic books and animation, started going that direction, but as I'm moving forward, I'm looking more into like architecture, so hopefully something pans out.
You're exploring stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Tell us your name. What are you doing?
Okay. My name is Victor. My website is vlbrownpmg@gmail.com.
One more time.
vlbrownpmg.com. Prints multiples of graphics. At this point, I'm still starting up, learning what to do. It's abstract art at this point. Graphic design as in logos and posters. And I'm going into one of my passions, which is fashion. So I'm in the planning stages of building a page for my fashion illustrations and some designs. That's where I'm at. Otherwise, I would like to conquer the world.
All right. Good. Just a little bit about you.
Hi, my name is Theron Jones. I'm not really into the art per se. I like art. I like to draw every now and then, but what I really like to do is web design and web development. So it kind of ties into art, but it's more so computer-based art. So you can do a lot of web design. I've tried to do some graphic design, like with the drawing and whatnot, but like I said, I primarily like to focus on web design and web development. So my website's not up right now, but I do have a website. It's Theron C. Jones. I'm actually in the process of redoing it. So yeah, I'm working on that. And then I have another small project that I'm working on. It's called A Dose of Media. It's going to be a basic website about web design and web development for up-and-coming designers, because I didn't go to school to be a web designer, so it's going to be a website that kind of helps up-and-coming designers get to that level that they want to be at. So that's pretty much it.
Do you have web designers who need help? Is that why you created that page?
I created the page more so as something for myself as well, because like I said, I didn't go to school to be a web designer. I went to school for computer science, so it's still programming, but it wasn't web design. So it's more so just like I saw a niche out there where a lot of people don't have like the money or to be out and go to these big schools that teach web design. So it was like, well, there's a lot of resources on the internet, and people are a lot of tutorials, a lot of things going on. So I was like, well, there's so much out there, and then I just want to make one place where everybody can come, like it's all there. So instead of having to go here and go there, and it's like one place. So yeah, pretty much it.
I'm Amanda, and I work in the marketing field. I work with Theron, and I work at a technology company. For years, I've been sketching and drawing, not really feeling like I can make a career out of it. So right now, I'm working just on illustration and just trying to determine what medium I want to get into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a future goal that you choose?
I would like to get more into fashion, but more vintage fashion, so kind of vintage illustrations. But as far as like a career, a name, no, I haven't. No.
Hey, I'm Goodrin, and I'm actually a photographer that used to draw and used to paint, and I stopped when I got out of college. And I just picked it back up because I was doodling a lot and just realized how much I lost, and so I'm just it's therapeutic for me just to get back to doing what I was doing, because I had a comic strip in the newspaper and everything, and I just kind of dropped it to work. So, and someone said that I needed to kind of mix it in because my photography is mixed media, collages and whatnot, and they were like, why don't you add some painting and some other things to it to give it some depth. So it's just something to do on the weekends to get stuff out.
Express your creativity. Cool.
I'm Don. I've been drawing since I was 7 or 8. I'm not the dopest, but I feel dope. And I want to be an illustrator.
I'm Ash. I went to school for illustration. I do graphic design. I paint on everything and body art. I really would like to streamline what I'm doing now and do less of it and find my niche. So I'm trying to find and do a little bit of everything right now to see what I like and how I can combine everything into one.
My name is Jason Thomas. I'm a pen and ink illustrator. I'm the CEO, founder of Jason Thomas Art. My website is jasonthomasart.com. I'm also the curator for the newly named curator for the airport in Macon, Georgia. I'm also the art director for iNetwork Inc., which is a arts and entertainment-based nonprofit organization in the Atlanta area. I love to draw. That's my thing. Me and Dan are good friends, and we draw together sometimes, compete most of the time. That's my homie, and I've been coming to the Blackbook conversation since it was in its conceptual phase, and that's what I do. So definitely come check me out, everybody. I don't think I met you before. I haven't met everybody here, but yeah, jasonthomasart.com once again, and the website for iNetwork is iNetworkInc.org.
Alright, my name is Kristen Petty, and I just graduated from SCAD last June with a degree in illustration, and since I was like 11, my goal has been to use my illustration for like a t-shirt line for women, and I'm really passionate about drawing like illustrations. Like I love psychedelic art, black letter, album covers, and I love fashion, particularly like street fashion, and I'm kind of obsessed with subcultural fashion, like Japanese clothing and just different like styles from different countries. And right now I'm trying to look for a way to make money, like just a job so I can make consistent money, so I can save to really launch my brand. I bought a book about how to start a t-shirt brand, and I'm just looking to learn as much as I can about like basic business, but I just see myself using my illustration and just putting it on like t-shirts for women. I feel like, why can't women have dragons and like like cool stuff on a shirt? Because I like I'm passionate because like I feel like I've gone to so many like clothing stores, and the coolest shirts are always guys' shirts. It's always like it's always like, you see these dragons and warriors and samurais, but it's always on a man's shirt, and then you put it on, like, I'm like 100 pounds, you put it on, and it's like a dress. And I was like, well, wait a minute now, like, where are the cool shirts for women? So I want to start making them, and I feel like my niche would be hand-drawn illustration. Like, if I were to make the shirts, I would draw everything by hand, and honestly just scan it in, or draw it by hand, and then do, like, a little bit of digital coloring. Because one thing I noticed too with t-shirts is that most of the art is vector art, but you don't see much hand illustration on t-shirts. So that's my goal, just launch a line and make awesome t-shirts for women.
My name is Pam. Right now I'm working as a production artist. I was trained as a graphic designer, but I want to somehow kind of meld the art and graphic design together. I've been drawing since I was 13, so I do a lot of abstract kind of faces and and it's just I can't really. I have no direction on how to get it together and how to market it and be more creative with it. So I'm not sure what to do.
My name is Adrian Daly, audiovisual technician by day, designer by night. I picked up drawing in the 7th grade, and I haven't stopped since. I just like the ability to think of a pose of a person and then actually put it on paper. So I studied deep in anatomy, and I pretty much got every how-to draw book in the bookstores that's out there now to make it happen. When I got out the military, and I wanted to go ahead and try and do this full time. But I landed in the world of audiovisual. So right now I'm trying to make the transition to draw for a living and do the audiovisual thing part time if I have to.
No, you're next. That's not fair. You don't just get to miss her out because she's your wife. That's just not right. My name's Michelle Johnston. I'm a website designer, developer. I just started working on my own. I'm late to this business. I decided to get trained in something that I really enjoyed, not just a job, something that was fun and excited me, and building websites does that. So I've just started my own company, southerninternetdesign.com, and I'm looking to break into the market. So if you know anybody that needs websites, hey, not Wix, okay? That is just so wrong.
So my wife Aisha Flores, and she's hardcore. She's into web design also, but the code part, and the both coders, you and Michelle. But so my wife knows all the languages and things to make websites work, and she's back in school at Emory for health informatics. So dealing with technology stuff and health. There, see? And of course, if you know me, if you don't know me, now you know. I'm an artist, illustrator, designer, and I say all those things because unlike Asha, just try everything, including like Gut Run 2. Just whatever you put in front of me, I'll try it and just see what it works, how it works, if I like it, if I don't like it. And if I can master it, then I like it. If I can't master it, then I don't like it. And just try it and do it, you know. And I'm sure like all of us, I started drawing when I was a little kid. My mother has a drawing that's dated 1975. And so I was 3 years old. And she kept it. I'm sure there was drawings before or after, but that one she kept. So that lets me know that at least when I was 3, I was drawing things that looked like something. And so I just never stopped, you know. And so what happens is I took one art class in high school. I didn't like it. I almost failed. And I never took another one. I didn't go to college. I went to high school and then the Marine Corps, and that was it. I didn't go to school, no college, no classes, no nothing. I just learned on my own. And I got into tattooing when there weren't that many tattoo shops back in the 90s. Started getting into web design back in the 90s. And then just learned. I took a long time. I spent a lot of nights reading on the help section of Photoshop and Illustrator, just figuring it out, you know, just doing things that just to see what would happen if I clicked here, if I clicked there, and I figured out enough to get good at it, and now I get paid. I get paid to do it. I get paid to do illustrations. I get paid to build websites with my wife. I get paid to draw and design T-shirts, and it's art is what I do. Art is my life, and I am thankful for my wife that she works with me and supports me in my career. And that's why we do the Black Book Conversations, because I feel like that every artist or every person, anybody, has the ability to follow through on a talent that they feel they want to explore. And you should do that. Now, what happens next? There's no telling. There's no guarantee of success. Art is one of the hardest careers out there. It's just very difficult, and it's partly because of the price of materials. They're not cheap, but another is that the things that you like is not necessarily what somebody else likes, and you may like another artist's work, but if they're not in your hometown, in your neighborhood, in your area that you can get to, and if they don't have the patience to want to talk to you, you're not going to be able to catch what they have. So it's really up to you. And art is a very lonely, committed job. You sit there and you have to do it by yourself. You have to do it with your own hand. It has to happen only when you put the time into it. There's no automation whatsoever. This is it. This is yours. But that's the thing. Like Mr. E said earlier, even though people have been making T-shirts ever since the T-shirt was invented, until you do it, and it won't be done. Not that T-shirt's never been done, is that what you want to do won't be done until that happens. So whatever it is that you're trying to explore, whatever it is that you're trying to follow through, unless you do it, it's not going to happen. And you can always say, well, I'll do it next week, next year, and so on. You do it right now, little by little, whatever time you have. It's okay to have extracurricular activities and go out and hang out, have friends, and whatever it is you like to do with your time. But if this is something that you really feel that is that you has to happen in your life, then you have to treat it like it is like you treat breathing.